Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sunlight Soul. This is Aaron.
And Mila.
And today we're going to be doing a reading on the energies of this Aquarius solar eclipse that's happened a few hours ago. We're in Central Standard Time right now. And this eclipse is very special. It also represents our ingress, our progression from the wood snake into the fire horse. So we're going to be pulling some cards on this and just speaking about some energies we feel. And, take what resonates, leave the rest. Use your own discernment. And just take this as information, release language. Figure out what language speaks with you in your own life. And hopefully this reading will help give you some ideas on what this could mean for you.
Exactly. And also we had the Venus North Node conjunction right before the eclipse. And another important thing to mention for this week is that tomorrow Sun will move into sign of Pisces. So we are just about to enter into Pisces season, which is the final season of this astrological year. So we're having a lot of resets. We are at we entered the year of 10, which is the 0 and the 1, the Gregorian year, with January 1st. Now we just entered into a new lunar year with this solar eclipse in Aquarius, which is the fire horse, and it will reset again at the Aquarius eclipse next year in February 6th, I believe it is. And then we are entering into the final month of the former astrological year, which will reset with equinox next year. Of course, we'll do a reading on that when we get to it, but there are a lot of shifts, a lot of beginnings and endings. And also, last but not least, we'll have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction on Friday, which will reset a cycle of 3 decades, I believe, for 4 decades. And this is again a beginning of a whole new cycle, and especially because it is in the sign of Aries on that analytic 0 degrees. So as you can see, there are a lot of energetical resets going on. Completely new energy is being introduced into our psyche. So that's what we are going to be putting cards on to give you a little bit more, hopefully, clarity with regards to this process.
Yeah. All right. You want to
I can start with the Moonology messages. I did use the Queen of the Moon and Queen of the Sun for my YouTube video. So if you would like to know what cards came up for that, then check out my YouTube channel, Moonlight Soul 369. In this one, we're going to use different decks so we can give you a little bit more of an overview and further messages. So this is Moonology messages from Yasmin Boland, and we're going to see what this lunation has more to say about this process we are at. So what is the guidance, the message for the eclipse? All right, we have release blocks. It's interesting because the full moon, the fallen moon, and at the bottom we have the past. And the snake. You want to start with this one, Aaron?
Sure. All right, so release blocks, of course. The first card out, you see that full moon and you see two distant suns here to the left and the right. I don't know if that's the sign of the card, but see they're hovering above rocks. So these rocks, to me, it's like in between worlds. The rock is static, it's been through a process of creation and now degeneration. It's becoming something solitary. It's usually representative of old Earth or the past, the legacy of creation, Saturnian energies. As you can see, these rocks are natural. They're not cut, they're not leveled, they're just blocks here. And in between is that space. And the emotions are behind it, the moon, the cycles, the seasons, realizing who and what you are in relation to what has been, and knowing that every step is a progression. When you settle long enough, you say, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, this is where I come from and my potential. Then that's what you settle into and you become a stone. And sometimes the river moves you and sometimes you sink. So sometimes you got to get back into the light, into the moonlight there. What feeds and nourishes your spirit? That'll help you find a realization that you are not your experience. You aren't actually what you do unless you put your heart and your spirit and your soul into it. All right, and here's dark moon, the past. As you can see, there's two snakes there on either side. We got crescent moons. We got this being here on this, looks like a whale in the ocean, the cosmic ocean. It's a, kind of looks like the high priestess, but
Yeah,
it's,
that's what I was thinking.
yeah. So she's tuning into the void, the potential there in the middle of that moon. Reminds me of a Taurus energy and Aquarius behind it, you know, like anchoring in the truth. What is your authentic expression? There are two sides to us, and one is reflected from the past, and one is the freedom of the unknown, the future. So, how do you tune that in to bring in a more authentic expression of yourself? What did you think?
Yeah, I feel pretty much everything you said right on. The cards are falling all over the place. So this card, as soon as I saw it, I felt High Priestess. And also it's interesting because we just switched from the year of the wood snake into the fire horse. And in a sense, this you can even look at this moon and think like, oh yeah, solar eclipse, you know, kind of looks a little bit like that. And then the other thing that crossed my mind right away when I looked at this card is Hermit, because like the mountain behind the hermit, you know, she's standing on that mountain. And we know that the year 9, which we just finished with the end of 2025, was about to find that star, right? The star, the potential of the future. Like Aaron said, these are two suns. You can also say two stars. Which future do you want to choose? That star of the future is in the lamp of the hermit. So now we are past that hermit year and we are on that mountain, you know, the Virgo, the hermit, like what work has been done internally and what has been shedded. And now there is a rise into certain level of consciousness, certain level of understanding. So I feel with this lunation, even though it is a new moon, so there is no clarity, but it's an eclipse, so our higher self, our soul knows exactly what's going on here. There is a rise of the true authentic expression of who you came here to be. And the falling moon, the being in between the blocks, this also for some reason speaks to me of the potentially the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo, which will be the next one in a row, and that will be the illumination of whatever got seeded for you in August and September last year, because we had the two new moons in Virgo. So I feel that this eclipse season in overall is helping us to end whatever we were working on, releasing throughout the year 2025, and now having potentially deeper understanding, maybe not in our mind, but deeper understanding of what was that for, why that had to be shedded, and where are we going, or at least where do we feel drawn to go. So also, just like Aaron said, between the two box, I don't know, obviously this is not turquoise, but the color, I mean, you might not see it very well on the camera, but somehow it reminds me of turquoise, which is your throat chakra, right? Like between the two blocks, what am I not speaking into creation, or what, you know, like I have the opportunity to decide, you know, just like with the Two of Swords or two of any of the minor arcana, like what am I choosing? Which path am I choosing? So releasing the blocks, because if you release what you're holding on to, suddenly there are many more choices available to choose from, as if you look at this, whether sun or the star, your future potential, right? So there are a lot of things which are, even though it is a new moon and there is not much clarity because there is no light, but the soul knows, and it's going to become clearer and clearer as we go ahead. But yeah, last thing with the High Priestess energy that we both tapped into with regards to this card, the answers are within, so you will not find them outside of yourself. So that's what I feel also with this solar eclipse being the exact square with Uranus as his modern ruler of Aquarius. And for Uranus, this is a first quarter square, which is a crisis in action. What do I need to do, right? What do I need to let go of potentially with Taurus, you know, the analytics of Taurus soon to be, with regards to the attachment to the past, right? And here it says about the releasing of the blockages that maybe the past now represents. So there is that all the potential that is yet to be manifest, but there is a choice that has to be made, our free will choice that I'm consenting to that. I'm ready to release that. And also, it's interesting we have the two suns, moons, and the two snakes. So again, choice points. We are at the choice points, I feel.
Yeah, very well said. It is interesting. It's like the energy of Saturn, the last decan of Taurus. It's the last 2 degrees are Martian degrees, according to Ptolemy. There are many systems, but it is the Capricornian decan. It's a Saturnian energy, grounding into this Libran energy of the last anaretic degree of Aquarius. So essentially, the entire fixed cross, the anoretics of that fixed cross, is being integrated into us. And that's the full plenum potential of the sign of expression of fixed form. And so the temple of the self, or existence itself, is enlivened with spirit, with life.
Mm.
And so what are you tuning into? As Mila was saying, the expression of yourself in this world is what you do, actually who you are. If not, what could you do to make it more? What could you put yourself in alignment with, something in existence that feeds and nourishes your spirit and actually gives you a sense of truth in life, rather than feeding into what has been. And it's a natural progression. Sometimes we're aware of it and conscious, and we make choices to further the transmutation so we can transform it. And other times we're swimming deeper. All right, so
Let's pull one of yours.
yeah, I'm going to pull from this Osho deck here. All right, so what energies want to speak further on this? Eclipse here, force, year, fire element, air. I mean, all the elements. You can't have one without the others. But the processes of the cycles, they're different depending on where your focus is or what you're starting with, what your intentions are. There's an alchemy in our psyche, and it's part of our conscious awakening, our sharpening or releasing, cleaning the lens, the mirror of the mind, to be more clear, not just reflective. So choosing what has been in the evolution of forms, or what could be through the freedom of an unknown knowing, in a sense. All right, this is fire, so I'm just going to cut. You take the middle, the bottom, and the top. So middle card, fighting. So we've got this knight here, protected, armored, in war mode, no weapons, just the hands and the eyes, the senses, or what little senses you have when you're covered in armor and you're dancing in the fog. And we see in the fog there are two people fighting. It looks like a father and a son. Essentially, what fights are worth having and what fights are actually yours to have in the first place? Are you stuck in the loops like Five of Swords energy, trying to win today? Or are you looking further ahead and seeing the long range and knowing that winning the battle today sustains or prolongs the war? You have to lose the battles which are worth losing in order to win. You have to know what it's like to lose, and to lose your sense of righteousness in yourself. A lot of what we defend, if we truly believed what we felt, then we would feel no need to defend it unless it's a life or death scenario. And we don't have a lot of those, which is why we're so easily persuaded through technology and the news and the media and the dramas and the dramatizations. We know life can be bad. It can also be good. It's if you're tuned into the bad, you're channeling that energy. If you're tuned into the good, which is essentially just creative, getting into a creative flow, finding what you can put your energy and your life force into that makes you feel alive. And instead of dancing with the ghosts of the past, moving forward, taking off the armor, getting some fresh air, using all your senses, not just the mind and the sight and the stories and the words on the pages and the data and the statistics and the trauma loop echo response of the past. So dropping the armor. Okay, and at the bottom we have the rebel. So rebelling against yourself here. A lot of times we rebel against our authentic self in order to hold a narrative for who we've been in relation to others or a system or a culture. This person looks like they've got a broken chain down there and they're carrying the torch, the light of truth. Looks like a samurai, shaman. What do you see?
Like if it had a snake around
Oh,
it.
yeah,
The
yeah.
fire here.
Yeah, he's got the snake. He shed the snake and he's holding the fire. And he's moving. Maybe he's waiting, signaling the fire horse here.
Breaking free from the chains of the past.
Yeah, breaking free from the chains that bind us. Want to speak on this one soon?
Yeah, and also with this one, as soon as I saw this card, to me, this is like our ego, you know, like, yeah, like everything Aaron said, which is the external manifestation, but with regards to the micro, like, what are we holding on to, you know, like I can see like my ego having a tantrum, like, no, I'm gonna fight for my survival, you know, I have all the narratives in my mind to protect my story and stuff, because even like when you look at the beings, you know, the two beings, which is kind of like they not even physically manifest, you know, what are we fighting against ourselves, the past versions of ourselves, the stories of the past, you know, that's why I feel these cards are so relevant, you know, like with the releasing the blocks of the past. So to me, this is like, what am I fighting against? Because usually everything in the external world is just mirroring my internal world. So you know, the state of affair in the world, the politics, everything. It's the as we think so without, one of the universal laws, right? The law of correspondence, I think it's called. As above, so below, as within, so without. So what is inside me is being mirrored by the external. What's external is doing, showing me, is mirroring the one inside of me, which is, I feel the past is wanting to hold on tightly, you know, like I have the armor of my righteousness, you know, the proof of the past. And yeah, I don't want the past to go, right? We want to hold on to it because it kept us safe, it helped us to survive. And this is everybody's story to a certain extent, like which aspect of myself that helped me to survive for, you know, however many decades you've been on this planet so far in this incarnation. And it is not easy to let these versions of myself go, to just suddenly go, oh yeah, I surrender, you know, to guidance of the universe, where, you know, we living in a physical reality. So to me, straight away, as soon as I saw this card, with regards to your inner world, that this is our ego protector that is like, you know, is ready, it's ready to fight, to protect its role, to protect, to prove how important it is. But yeah, with all this armor on, we don't feel very free. There is a lot to carry and there is not much expansion possible. We cannot go very far carrying all this stuff.
And we can't use any senses.
Exactly, like you are disconnected from everything, and you even see like the world just looks very black and white, right? And then when this card with all these colors and also the ancient wisdoms, right? Like this to me is again like, take, just like what we say with Aaron every time, and in a disclaimer, take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know, we are not to copy paste the past into the present and make the same future out of it. So suddenly here are all these colors, you know, like I pointed out to Aaron, it looks like he's got the snake skin around his neck, but it's free, you know, like it became part of the tapestry, part of his clothing. Like I shed this skin. It is part of who I am. This is what I've gone through. It was what made me who I am now. But I am kind of, in a sense, this is a number 4. It feels to me a little bit, yeah, it's an emperor, but also it feels to me to a certain extent like the devil card freed, the devil freed, where you can see he's breaking free from the chains. The chains are actually not physically attached. So I feel that whatever all of us have gone through, that we realize that, oh wow, I've been holding on to this for so long, these clothes of the past, these identities, this armor, this snake skin, and now, yes, it's part of who I wear, but it doesn't have to be part of where I'm going. So freeing ourselves from that, and now we have this fire guiding us forward, giving us this new, potentially new inspiration, new hope, whatever it is, because suddenly we're going from this very monochronic to all these colors. There is a lot to yet be discovered, yet to be manifest. The world is not black and white. There is a lot of colors to focus on. So yeah, so I feel like, with the number 4, that is the foundation in creation.
This is on the top.
That's a 16, that's a tower. Yeah, and in many cases, this is a tower card, representation of the tower card. This is not, like when I put it into these two, okay, the ego needs to survive. We know that the powers, of the world, like the people in charge of the world, they don't want to let it go. My ego doesn't want to let it go, the old world. We all in these trauma loops that just wants to repeat itself and survive and claim the same way of, this is the only way how we can do it. This is the only way to survive, right? So here is something that say, well, there is a different way. Just follow the fire of your soul, right? Just, this person, his eyes are not even fully open, he's just like in a Zen space somewhere. And yeah, with the fire horse, whatever you didn't release, whatever I'm holding on to for dear life, well, the horse is just gonna trample all over it, the fire gonna just burn it down. So in a sense, I feel throughout the year of the snake, it was like maybe not so gentle, but I feel like we had more of a time to do the shedding. We had a whole year to do it, right? Like, okay, well, and it was a gradual process. The snake doesn't shed the skin in one day. It's a gradual process. But now, with the horse coming online, solar eclipse in Aquarius, Uranus is being involved as the rule, Saturn on the analytic 0, closing phase conjunction to Neptune, they're going to conjunct on that 00:45:9 minutes. Things have to end. One way or another, voluntarily or not, things have to end, and this is for everything. The structures, the powers, this is the evolution. I don't have to like it. Aaron doesn't have to like it. None of us is asked, do I like it, in my ego version of myself. Doesn't matter if you like it or not. The higher self, all of our souls that are currently incarnate in our physical bodies, knew this would happen, knew this time will come, and they agreed to it. And they said, yeah, we are right online, we are right on time. So the ego can have a pity party. The state of the world might want to hold on to how things were, the riches and the how you say, like being on a peak of the past, the what we worked and strived towards.
Pretty top.
Yeah, but everything has an expiry date, and we are being very aware of what it is individually and collectively. And yeah, with the horse and the fire, and with the Aquarian energy, expect the unexpected, especially Uranus being involved, things are going ahead one way or another, and things will change one way or another, because we are in a different ages, we are in a different stage, and with the Saturn Neptune now both in Aries coming into this conjunction, resetting the cycles, and then we only have Uranus left, and then obviously Chiron and Jupiter are gonna move in June, and nodes in July. That's it. We are entering into a whole new chapter over here. And with the snake here, it was done gradually. With the fire horse, it's gonna be done fast. So follow your fire.
Yeah, very well said. And of course, this is the Tower card. You can see it's a being here, no clothes. Burnt through all the garments. The surge of life is so great that the shadow is illuminated, and all the personas and the clothes and everything burned away. And these are the adornments of the past. And as you were mentioning, With the fire horse, it's moving fast, it's burning. So whatever we're dragging with us, whatever skin we haven't shed, it's going to be burning. We're not going to be able to carry it much longer. It's either going to be burnt away or we're going to have to cut bait somehow. And this is us getting into a clear state, who and what we are in relation to what is. And it's about understanding what's to come. And it's not trapped in the mind, it's in the spirit to be realized. So leading by the heart, flying free, seeing the opening and taking it. We're all in this world together doing what we do to try and figure out how to live best we can. And the awareness comes and goes. Sometimes we think we're our job or our roles or our responsibilities for others. And sometimes we are, but we're also individuals. And if you're going to just repeat the past cycles and hurt trauma loops, you're not going to be able to set yourself or help anyone else understand that there's another way. So, yeah, was under the thunderbolt.
That's interesting because when you look at it's interesting with these arrows, they're going in opposite direction. I don't know if you can notice it very well. And to me, it just came to me that one, because it's very gray, like one represents restriction and this one represents expansion. I'm going out, like expansion, restriction, it's all black and white, like it's all gray. Whereas this one, like, a lot of blue, like a lot of expression, a lot of connection. And also as soon as, like I seen this card, I thought peace, being at peace and acceptance, because everything, especially with all these birds above it, everything is aligned with, with the ancestors, with the divine. And it's interesting that the two cards, which major arcana, the Tower and the Emperor, the 4 and the 16, and yet in this card, this deck, the Emperor is called Rebel. Also, it's about sometimes we have to even rebel against ourselves, because like I said, the ego identities, the fragmentations of our psyche happened to keep us safe, but now it became restrictive. So that's why there are all these situations, circumstances, many of them not necessarily comfortable, to help us free ourselves from the state of the mind that says that this is the only way it can be, which is the limitation, so we can rise into the heights we have not yet experienced, which is the Aquarian frequency of Uranus going beyond. Saturn is what already was, is the manifestation of the rebel of the past. We already know what that is. It's no longer rebelling, it's just being. But the Uranian expression of Aquarius is unknown, because it's breaking the patterns of everything that's known. All right. Should we put another one from here?
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna do the cosmic crossroads, because we are, in a sense, at the crossroads, entering a completely new cycle here. So let's see about, okay, straight away 2 cards are popping out. One is saying wisdom and love. Number 44, which is the number 8, the manifestation, and number 25, which is number 7. So we have a sequence here, and here is the horse with the wing. We might have pulled this card before. I know I saw this card with the horse and the wings. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the hesitation, number 21, which to me is like the world card. Yeah, if the cycle is gone, where do we go from here? And you can see it's like an eclipse. There is a hesitation because we know that the cycle has ended. But now what? What is the new cycle? We don't know. We know that the Fool yet. I mean, technically we are the 0 and the 1, but this is a new moon. We don't know. We don't know where we're going. So there is like it requires strength, right, to face it. And it's, in a sense, when you look at this from the distance, it looks like an eye.
That's it's an awesome card.
Yeah. And all the stars.
It is like you are limited to your conception. What can you see when all cycles are closing? What can you see? Everything you see is either a reminder of the past or the purity in the depth of the emotions unknown in that pupil there. What is the depth of what you can see within? So when we don't know what's going on in the world and where we're going, it's good to look within and assess. When you're aware that I don't know where I'm going, what I'm doing. Well, here are the stars. There's 6 stars here next to a giant cactus in a field of flowers. And she's sitting there.
Standing with her hands in the back.
Yeah.
And also you can see like the way she's dressed, you wonder like, is that an ammunition or is
Yeah.
it some kind of like a, how you say, like native clothing, right? So the ammunition is within you, you know, it is not in holding a gun, it's in your strength and resiliency. So that's why I feel the wisdom and the love, you know, the wisdom of the ancestors. You know, like this is a person from a long time ago. The wisdom of the ancestors live within you. You can see like the earth is behind you. Also, there is the cosmos, not just your ancestors on this planet, you know, like we are all cosmic in origin. You can see all the like kind of like a planet of rainbows. We all from everywhere, we all been everything, you know. There is not like hierarchy in Aquarian age. There is no hierarchy like this is superior, like, you know, Palladians are superior to Arc to. No, there is no such a thing. It's just everybody has different gifts. Is the diversity of Aquarius. We are not here to be the same, but we are equally valuable. We are equally important. So the wisdom of the ancestors, and then the love, you know, the horse, the love will set you free. You know, like that's about the blooming of the they say Christ consciousness, the age of like heart-centered consciousness. Well, now we're moving into the cosmic heart, which is the unconditional love, which is not hierarchical, is non-judgmental. So the fire horse, we can see a horse here with the butterfly wings, in a sense, is initiating that, is setting us free from the need to judge, the need to know, the need to figure it out. It's just the unconditional love is all about acceptance.
Yeah, very well said. Yeah, and if you look, you know, we've got the 7, 2, 5, and the 8, 4, 4, and that's the tarot, you know, it's the Cancer card and the Leo card, it's Chariot and Strength. And this is the strength of the ancestors, you know, they go through experiences and hand up the maturation of their spirit, and some of it is in wisdom and it resonates in your DNA and your genetics, physically and spiritually, from the stars beyond the galactic and from beyond that which is beyond conception. So wherever we settle, because it's all the ineffable is beyond potential, it's absolute freedom and ignorance. So wherever you settle with your conception is what you manifest, but you will always bring the wisdom of the ancestors, and you will feel the depths of the love that you're able to conceive, what you can compassionate. How much life can you put into life? What is possible for you? When you're down and you're broke and you're hurt and you're hungry and the world isn't working, it's hard to get into the love. In those moments, you are in the sacred trials of life to give you wisdom through the process, through the pain, to feeling the ancestors. Everyone on life goes through the same feelings. We go through the same types of scenarios to varying degrees, but to the depth of the degree we go through, we feel it. And that's a process where we're cultivating our spirit in the moment, the felt presence of experience. And like every day doesn't rain, when it's sunny out and you have a good day and you're feeling good and free and alive, that's when you can know what love is. You can know, I love the sun, I love the breeze. You know, on these types of days, I love to be alive, and that's what makes it worth it. So, yeah.
And I also feel with the rainbow, we know the rainbow even in the Old Testament, right? It was like the promise that, okay, things are gonna get better now. So I feel also like this is the reaping the rewards of the wisdom of the ancestors, you know? Like also with the orbs here, like we were saying, this is not just the ancestors of Earth, right? Like we have a access to anything and everything, right? Any kind of galactic beings, it's all here to help us to create these better times on planet Earth, you know, the rainbow on Earth, like the heaven on Earth, the peaceful time on Earth. That's what we are seeding now. And even when you look at, there's so much symbology in this, like spring, right? Spring flowers, and the horse has the wings, you know, like we are metamorphizing into these new beings which are free, which are unbound, which are allowed to be authentic, which is a new expression, right? Like we are being reborn. But you can see this pyramid, you know, it kind of has like a chest on it. So there is like a illumination and enlightenment coming up on planet Earth, where this is no longer necessary. The hierarchy, you know, the hierarchical way of being, where this manipulation and the chess, and you always need to be a million steps ahead of a game because, you know, you need to win, otherwise you're gonna die and whatever, you know, with the desert, otherwise I'm gonna be left alone. I feel like, you know, this also could be an indication to, you know, whatever is happening in Egypt, in, you know, these pyramids and stuff, where the higher consciousness is being downloaded, you know, and then maybe blasted into the world, who knows. But it is the time of blooming for humanity. It is the time of blooming. Yeah, it is the time of spring, the rebirth. So I feel that there is a lot of symbology in this card. I'm sure most of it I don't even understand, but also the number 7, as 2 and 5, 7, it is the high wisdom. It's a very spiritual number associated with Neptune. So we can never understand everything. You know, everybody has their own guidance, their own interpretation. But to me, these cards are indicating that with these energies we are currently playing with, this new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius ushering in the fire horse, the reset between Saturn and Neptune, and also the final months of the former astrological year, tomorrow starting the Pisces season, all that, there is a new consciousness that is being birthed within you, within all of us, that is allowing this seeding of this new earth, this new world, this new human, this new everything on this planet, because it's time. Because with the rainbow, yeah, you know, how many more wars do we need to realize what we already know? This is not comfortable and really desired by majority. So that's what I feel. It is the time that everybody has been working on as your ancestors in your past life to come to this stage of cycle of evolution for humanity on this planet, and it is being like seeding and beginning now. So that's what I feel.
Yeah, very well said. Should we do one more deck?
Yeah, one more from you, and
All
then
right.
I can do one more from my end if needed. Yeah, let's do that one.
We'll do the Tarot of the Sacred Kingdoms.
Aaron's brand new deck.
Yeah. All right. It's beautifully handcrafted.
First time used publicly. This is a premiere to honor the new energies. Oh.
All right, so we'll take that and the cut.
Perfect.
Page of Pentacles. All right, so Page of Pentacles, the new beginnings. So you can see a young man studying here in looks like a cathedral or a sacred library, reading old texts. Now, what is this? When we experience life, so you read a book and you learn new things, and then you have this desire which starts to grow to do what these things inspire within you. We've come out of the grand conjunctions of the air or the earth signs, and now we're in the grand conjunction cycles of the air signs. And now we've got this Page of Pentacles here coming at the anoretics of Aquarius with solar eclipse. What is the possibility? What are the limits of what you've read, and what can you do with that to break those limits, expound upon them? How do you progress the myths? How do you mythologize new meaning into existence by not just cutting bait with the past, but mutating it, growing it, transforming it into something higher, into this awareness of mind, and not bound to the books of the past, but what do you do with it? How do you live it into existence?
Yeah, I also feel because Page of Pentacles generally represents like a new purpose, like in a physical form, that something new is being offered, the new pentacle. Well, it's also well, actually, that's Ace of Pentacles, but like the Page of Pentacles to me is a messenger of that. That there is a new purpose, there is a new manifestation coming, right? And also as soon as I saw this card, to me it was like you can see, you can think of it like an Akashic library, right? Which is also misunderstood because it is not somewhere. It is like your own Akashic records are with you in your auric field, in your being, within your soul, right? Which you are connected to at all times. So yeah, there is of course the like the Akashic library of humanity, but your Akashic library is within you. So that's why your own purpose can only be found within you. It cannot be found outside there. So that's what I feel like with this Page of Pentacles. And I mean there must be a reason why I'm also including the Ace of Pentacles in that there is this messenger saying that the wisdom lives within you, like it's being illuminated. That's why I feel it's interesting that cards come together, like the wisdom. To me, these cards are connected. The wisdom, that is coming from the world, from the universe, from the ancestors, from the cosmic ancestors, all of it, the orbs of light, the rainbow. So I feel with this light that is shining there, this is like, what have we learned? Because also page that could be even seen like a Virgo card, like Virgo energy, right? Like very mutable. It will mean different things to different people, but the point is that we are now entering into a new stage where you will decide your own purpose. You will decide what it is because the guidance is and always has been within you, but we didn't know. We didn't know.
Yes. And the camera stopped there. Yeah, the page, it's a very small energy, which is a vital mechanism which binds all actions, all further actions. So it's a very important energy. And the next card that came out on the split after that one shot out was the Nine of Swords. All right, so let's look at this real quick. Let me get a good. It's a elder, a man standing in the smoke above the fire, and a young woman here looking up to him. And typically, Nine of Swords is Mars in Gemini, it's second decan of Gemini. This is the north nodal range of Uranus. And it can be burdens which keep you up at night, these swords, which are the experiences of the past, the expectations of your own beliefs, because you've been taught by the wisdom of experience. And this fire here at the base of the smoke, the fire is the purity of all creation, and it illuminates through the edifice of our ancestors, through our parents, our cultures, our societies, the way we put our minds to work in order to come to communal understanding and to generate existence, society, culture. And we think that, to honor and worship creation is to honor and worship the elders of the past. And when we've got all of this freedom to create and potential, we're conflicted a lot of times because we've got to understand that the teacher is not above the teaching. If the teacher is not a student, they're not actually teaching. They're just lording the fire. They are projecting the self-fulfilling prophecy of an ancient wisdom. And it's for us to break free and find the truth of our own rebellion and stand into this possibility of freedom through our own creation.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you put it in the camera, it kind of looked to me a little bit like this one. The
Yeah,
frog,
I know.
the fox. So this card to me are like these three cards merged. The first cards that we pulled, that the past roles that we play that are now keeping us trapped in this armor, because it's saying, well, this is how it's being, this is how it has to be, this is how it has to continue. And then the fire that is burning here, like the fire that this guy is holding, the fire of the ancestors, that it wants to be used in a different way, because this old manifestation, these old thoughts and beliefs, swords that created the manifestation we are experiencing at the moment, it needs to be purified. It needs to be renewed. Like this person here, like it looks a little bit malefic, like this young little girl, is being taught, but by what is she learning? What is she learning? Is she learning from inside, in the solitude, and being led by her own soul, or is she listening to someone else who, they might be sharing wisdom, but their wisdom might not be relevant in 21st century? So that's why when we go too far away from our own path, then the tower happens. So that's what I feel with the 9, which is very Martian number, and Mars is connected to tower card. Tower card, this one, yeah, this one. So that's why I feel like this one card is like an amalgamation of the three. It is time to let go of the ghosts of the past that, yes, kept us safe and helped us to survive until this point, but now we're going beyond that. We are going beyond just survival, right? Just having the material. Like Uranus is almost done with Taurus. We only have 2 more months there. So we're going beyond that. We are going beyond that. We are going to be led by something different, not the stories being told. Yes, we're going to listen and we're going to excavate the wisdom of it, but it's not going to be the absolute. There is not going to be absolute. It's going to be led from inside out, because the only one that know where to guide you is yourself. There is no one can know your path. That's why I feel with the page, only you know.
Yeah, and the friction of relation there is that law of correlation. And as you mentioned earlier, we bring into resonance a spirit in relation, and this is the friction of life and where the emotions live, where creation exists. And you can see this is the Empress card. And it looks like a dark, barren field, but where she goes, flowers grow. And she cultivated that ability from understanding her value. And maybe her value wasn't in things she could share with others, but it was in the sacred feeling of what it is to be alive, the felt presence of experience. What grows in the void when you're absent of the replication of entrained experiences and knowledge of others in the past and the relations of yesterday? How do you cultivate today? How do you go forward honoring yesterday through new creations? And so this Empress here, she's just bringing abundance wherever she goes. It's within, the heaven within brought without. And it's the contrast that creation brings.
Beautiful card. And she's kind of like it's hard to tell. Is she underwater? Is she on Earth? Where is she? It's like a cosmic, multi-dimensional being, and it's interesting because we had the High Priestess, we have in the Empress, and we have the Emperor, and look at how untraditionally they look. She looks like Lilith rising, like the Kali Ma. I'm all in my shadow. I'm powerful in knowing my conscious and unconscious, and I know I'm in charge of both. My higher self is in a full acceptance and knowing of all of it. And then you have the Empress, which is like this multi-dimensional being that say, wherever I go, I will bloom because I'm bringing my light with me. I'm bringing it with me. All this in this world is without the spirit being present is dead, is not animated. Your body, when you once gone and you go back to spirit realm, it's just the inanimate object. What makes this world animated, what makes it so beautiful, is the spirit, which we will bring with us from wherever we go. So that's why we rebel against the old structure that made us believe that we don't matter, that we have no value, that value is in something external. And this is the proof that it isn't. The value has always been within you, and only you have the power to create the essence within you. The number 3, the creation, the co-creation. Your body, your spirit, and what you in relation to is creating a new expression. So that's why it's interesting that we had these 3 cards, which is the chronological order of the archetype, and they look all very different to what we used to see in them as. And this is what's the breaking of the pattern. Like, oh yeah, when did the emperor has been a rebel? Well, whatever you decide to believe.
Saturn's reborn here, so think of Uranus, and Gaia, Earth, and the spirit is being born in that. That's Saturn and the other Titans. And we know mythologies, but we don't know grand scale cycles. And I feel we could be in the junction point of very grand scale cycles, which we can't even conceive. So the rebel is the emperor. It is being sovereign to yourself, finding what are the true colors, what have you shed, what do you wear, the experiences of the past, and what is that shape? How do you value yourself from that and create from that, knowing that we're all part of eternal creation and destruction and everything in between, all conception. So making that worth something.
And also the chess I showed you before on this card, and he's got like the pattern. You are the one decide the rules of the game, not someone out there. Like, oh, I'm playing the chess over here, moving these people around of the world and just laughing because I'm in control like a puppeteer. No, we are taking the power back and deciding for ourselves what are the rules of my game in my world where I'm the emperor. But I know that in your world, you are equal to me, you are also an emperor, but we don't have to play together if you're not in resonance. So with Saturn in Aries, it in a sense is a rebel, it is a fool, right? Aries, the new beginning, the beginning of a new journey with Saturn as the creator, the manifestation of the form is at the beginning of the journey. With the Aries, it not yet has a form, it's just a fire. So that's what I feel like, there are so many like fires in these cards. The fire might be small, but it's already here. We don't know yet what is here for, what it wants to create. In a sense, it's still probably burning what's in its way, but there is a new being present, the new energy, the energy of you and the potential of you, the future you that is coming closer to the current you, to become you. So that's what I feel, that there is this like very significant shift of energy that's going on today.
Yeah, Ten of Wands energy. The Ten of Wands was at the bottom underneath the Empress.
The burden of the past are being shed, they're being purified.
Yeah, so your spirit in cultivation of life, ending and beginning cycles. How does the spirit find its anchor in existence, its passion? And if you can compassionate existence, then you're in a good place.
That's interesting because normally, traditionally, if I look at that card, I think it's an 8 of Pentacles, like hard work in life. But now it's a 10 of Wands, which is saying this way of life, hard work, it's ended. Okay, it's not gonna be. This is not the way of a future to work hard and have to sweat, tears, blood, and everything, and sacrifice in order to just deserve to be alive. Like this is not how it works in Aquarian.
Taxes.
Oh yeah, taxes that are a creation
Live
of
up to everyone else's expectations.
Exactly.
And the programs and
like it's interesting. Like I was talking to Aaron the other day that there was a time in human history we are not talking about being told or even believe, because how they say, well, the things that are like certain for everyone is the death and taxes, right? And I'm like, what you talking about? Taxes are man-made thing, There was a time in a human history where there were no taxes; they didn't exist, but nobody remembers because it was so long time ago and nobody talks about it. But I would like to end with the portal card. This is an oracle of portals, so I just want to pull for us final card with regards to what part the portal is being open for us. Then we can close with that if you wish to do so. Unless you want to pull something out.
No, that's good.
Okay, let's see. What is the portal that they should be aware of? Okay. Be so eager. Wait. I'll make that one apart. And exit.
Yeah, it's like, so in the morning, this is life. We go through experiences to understand who we are through who we aren't. In the process, we take on many lives. We live many different roles. We travel, we meet people, we meet ourselves. And when we wake up in the morning, we have things to do, but sometimes things are tied to what's not really in resonance with us. Why are you waking up in life? How do you move towards that which gives you the fire to live, feeds and nourishes your spirit? And
That was this one, and these were
okay.
extra two that I got.
And so that's a 9. That's 18 sun card. Or is that the
18 is the moon.
moon? All right, so the emotional flows. And now we've got 16 exits. So we got this horse and a rider going to the sun, the fire horse. And it looks like he's running on the ocean towards the horizon, mixing the emotions with the spirit of the fresh air towards the eternal sun, the purity of yourself. So rise and exit. Find what in this world resonates with you and pursue yourself in that endeavor. Find yourself through what you do, not who you think you are. This was next.
I just because I wanted to know what we exit in. So this card is like perfectly self-explanatory because we know we are coming awake. We are waking up from a long dream, right? We're coming awake and we are exiting. And it is number 16, which we already pulled one tower card, which was this one. So here we got another one. So it's saying yes, like this is a year of exit. We are exiting with this fire horse. We are exiting. But then I was inquiring, but what are we exiting? And then these two more cards came up, which interesting. One was in the middle of the deck and one at the bottom, and they are actually in chronological order, 27 and 28, and 27 and 18 are both 9. So the endings, this underworld, this sense of being unconscious, but also because of diving deep within the shadow of our soul or our unconscious mind, we are having the opportunity to reclaim ourselves, right? So that's what I feel also the year 9 represented. Many of us had to go very deep into our shadow, very deep into our past, right? The 18 is the past, the moon card. Why? Because we graduated. All of the cards are saying the same thing. The cycle has ended. We graduated. It's finished. Saturn is already in Aries. Neptune is already in Aries. We will never experience Neptune in Pisces in this lifetime, ever. None of us. Maybe some of us will, Saturn in Pisces and Aries, but Neptune in Aries and Neptune in Pisces, never, So we graduated. The chapter of humanity, the stage, you see, they took a bow, it's done, it's finished. So yeah, like Aaron said, what are we riding towards? It's your own sun. It's your own expression, just like with this guy. You will not find the wisdom that's relevant to your path outside of yourself. We need to take time to be with ourselves, to contemplate in our own stillness and silence to know what it is. So that's why I felt it was important to know what you exiting. Well, you graduated, so you have to exit the stage, choose a new role. So the horse will show you, because everything that it is not is just going to be trampled over and burned to ashes. So, I think the clarity will come much faster this year. We might think like, well, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm sure that if we turn in a wrong direction, it will become very clear very quick. You don't have to go through a year to realize that, oh shit, I shouldn't have gone that way. Don't worry, you're gonna be not wasting that much time. So yeah, because now you know yourself better, because you've gone through a year of wood snake. I mean, come on. So these are very significant cards, because they're saying you are awakening. We are awakening, and we are on a way to our own purpose. Because the old role that you played, I played, we all played for the Piscean age, so we can close the chapter for humanity with the 4 roles of martyr, tyrant, prosecutor, and whatever, savior and victim. That has ended. Now we mastered that already perfectly fine for over 2,000 years. So
yeah, I mean, you spoke. That's what I would.
I don't know what else to say about that one, whether anything else comes to you.
Well, it's like the spiral of life, you know, it leads us up and down, and it's the gravity of our emotions, the moon there, so we can go up or down. You know, either way, it might be the right way for you. Sometimes you gotta go in reverse in order to get forward. But just know that everything is temporal in existence, and so are you, and so is your awareness. And once your consciousness is sparked with the creation of imagination through the provocations of life, you know, what brings you into this search or this path up or down? And what are you gaining from it? This is the time with Pluto in Aquarius, the gifts of the ancestors to be realized. And the curse becomes the gift when you're able to see it anew. And when you ritualize that understanding through a lived experience, when you feel what is the truth of who I might be, not who I think I am, and you find what that is in the pursuits of life, then it naturally brings you up into new terrain where you may not have been. So try and find what that is within yourself and follow that. That'll help lead you into the sun of the self, the soul of the self, so that the diversity of the unity of Aquarius can be realized through your life and recognized and rejoiced by others. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I think that's a good closing message.
All right, well, that was our eclipse reading for this Firehouse transition. And that was a new moon in Aquarius, just happened a few hours ago. So thanks for watching, listening, and being.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add that we are running 17% sale in honor of this eclipse, which began today on the 17th. So this will be offered throughout the duration of the eclipse season until March 3rd. So you can book reading with myself or Aaron or both of us together, 17% of any of our services. You can find all the details on my website, moonlightsoul369.com. And if you would like to connect, then reach out and we can talk further. And with that, thank you again, just like Aaron said, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.
Take care.